How am I looking? I didn't get much sleep last night. I read a quote somewhere that said, you create opportunities by asking for them. We're picking up from yesterday, continuing the series of just amazing women in the field. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you Holly Burch with Clinical Behavior Analysis. Oh, and if you didn't know, you're tuned in to the Daily BA. How did you get in the field? Where did you stumble across it first?
So I got my bachelor's degree from University of Louisville in psychology, and in one of my psychology classes it was called Intro to Learning in Behavior or something like that, along those lines. And we talked about basically all behavior analysis stuff, but they weren't using the terms behavior analysis. So I learned about all of this stuff, and then they talked about it for maybe like one day, and they were like, so all of this that you're learning is actually a science called behavior analysis, and then like skipped it for the rest of the time.
Really?
Like, we're not going to talk about behavior analysis for the rest of the time.
Okay.
So we learned about like Pavlov, Skinner, all that stuff.
Okay.
So that kind of got me thinking like, I kind of like this stuff.
Yeah.
And then, I was kind of like, what do I want to do with my psychology degree? So, and then I started researching more, like found behavior analysis, like, I kind of learned about that a little bit. Maybe I want to jump into it, and I did, and I love it.
Okay, awesome. So so most people get in the field, they find out, like, hey, this is something interesting for me, like I job hopped a bunch, I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to do with it. Have you found that? Like, what are you passionate about?
I am passionate about parent training, caregiver training, staff training, because I work in the home and in day programs, residentials, things like that.
So you can find I would assume as a parent, you can find yourself in a lot of like stressful situations, and there's like common problems that probably happen. Do you run into those?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. A lot of parents, a lot of their behavior, the function of their behavior is, escape a lot of the time when their kids are engaging in these behaviors. They're wanting to escape the situation, so they will, give in, reinforce these behaviors.
Yeah. Which is, like, I think, totally understandable, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Looking for a little relief and a break, right?
Absolutely. A lot of times they don't realize that they are actually reinforcing a behavior. They think that they are punishing it when they reprimand their kids when they yell at them.
Yeah.
And actually that's reinforcement sometimes.
Yeah, that can actually have the opposite effect, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So what are some ways that these are combated? You're now working at clinical behavior analysis, right?
Yes.
So there's rapid skills training.
Yes, so we do rapid skills training, which teaches the parents, caregivers, staff how to interact with their kids appropriately based on what their behaviors are. So we do, it's rapid, it stands for rewarding, attending, providing breaks, ignoring, and direction giving. Yeah, a lot of the times the parents will yell at their kids, and they think they're punishing it. They think the behavior is going to go away when actually they need to ignore. Sometimes I have to model how to pair with their kids, how to, reinforce what they're doing, I really like to get into my clients' world, to get to know them, understand them, find out what they like, what they dislike, so that I can get them to work with me, and we can build these other skills to replace their problem behaviors.
So is the modeling like a big component of helping these parents out then?
Absolutely,
Showing them how to do this?
Yeah.
How do you do that? Can you give me like an example maybe?
He lives with his grandma, and grandma just really, really wants to get on his level, but doesn't know how. So I really try to literally get on their level, get down and find out what he likes. So I bring in all these, I have a bag of just my stuff.
Yeah. Is that in your car everywhere you go?
Literally in my car. Yeah, I've got Play-Doh, I've got light up toys, you name it, it's my car. Figure out what this kid likes, and then they're boom, they're gonna like something that I have.
Yeah.
Play with it with them for a while, and then they start to do some other things. They lead me into other things that they like and that they want to do. Okay. And then you do that with them.
Yeah.
And parents are always observing, because in my sessions I like to bring the parents in, so they can see that. And sometimes it just takes a few minutes of parents, caregivers interacting with their kids,
Yeah.
doing whatever it is that the kid's doing, and that's the attending part.
So some take homes for parents, like if you're looking to, if you're running into some sort of problem behaviors, right, in the house, it sounds like part of this is for you as the behavior analyst coming in to help out, that you're helping them on the role modeling aspect, right, and showing like this is how we do these sort of things.
Yeah.
But like also jumping in, getting to know from the client's perspective what they're really interested in is crucial, right?
Yeah.
So without that motivation, you're not gonna be able to model it.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that I missed there? It's like super important. So from like a young BCBA jumping into this.
Working with the kid, you know, if they like you, they're more apt to do things for you. Whether that's, you know, like man training, communication, any type of response that you want them to give you, they're going to give it to you if you're pairing with them.
Yeah.
And if you're not, like, good luck with that, honestly.
So I've heard this will be a fun one. I've heard two different approaches to pairing. Like we're going to sit down in the traditional role of like pair, like have a good time, you know, that sort of side of it. Then I've heard that other people say it needs to be on the back end of just like really consistent rewards and like schedules of reinforcement, right? Do you know which one, or is it both that you're kind of focusing on?
I like to bring in reinforcers, whatever it is that person likes, first of all. And so then I'm paired with, like, you know, this kid likes Play-Doh. Bring in Play-Doh. He sees me, he's like, oh, she's got the Play-Doh. I'm going to come in here and work with her. And then after that, I fade that out.
Okay.
You know, I bring in the Play-Doh, but I also add in different social interactions, tickles, things like that.
Are you requiring them to be a part of that? Is like a little bit of requests jumping into that session too?
Oh, yeah. Like, I use a lot of incidental teaching.
Okay.
You know, with the Play-Doh, we're playing with it. What color before I open it for him? Things like that.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. That's what I was getting at. Is it sounds like from what I've seen in some of the literature is there's the pairing aspect, and then some people focus on the like having that incidental part in there, like you talked about. It looks like it could be a really core component as well.
Yeah.
So like we'll link that down below so people can check that sort of stuff out.
So,
after you got the buy-in.
Yeah.
What's next?
Modeling it.
And then when you model it, is that where their expectations are to start doing this now more often?
Yeah, that's where I get the buy-in from modeling, and they're like, oh, this works.
Okay.
You know? So I model it for them. And then with the rapid trainings, we have the parents jump in and do it with their kids.
So you're coaching in those aspects?
Yes, and then we provide feedback. We take data on how many, you know, corrective responses they're giving their kid, things like that, and then we show them, like, you gave them this many negative statements and this many positive ones.
Are most kind of shocked by those numbers, or are they? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think it's a tendency to just kind of dig into the negatives. Like I do this, I get critiqued a lot for this in the online work that I do with a bunch of people.
Yeah.
It's like we're always focused on the negatives, and it's like we're all on the same page and we're trying to get better, but I forget about that ratio. So it's a constant, like, got to bring it back into the appropriate ratio, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So when I guess if you're a parent kind of watching this, one thing to maybe just start looking at is like your number of negative or corrections to positive interactions. Is that a good place to start?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that seems like it's been also a crucial thing that you coach around if you're a behavior analyst checking this out as well, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, I've made sure to link both Holly Burch's and clinical behavior analysis info down below, so do me a favor, go and follow them. Check out the Rapid Skills. It's in their link to their Instagram currently, and it's also down below. If you are a parent or know a parent that is looking for something like this, do us a favor, share it around. It is a larger behavioral community coming together that is truly going to save the world. It is not us doing it alone. That's your Daily BA. So I thought, for tonight, I guess, we'd talk about the reason I wear a hat, but from like a behavioral perspective. How am I looking? I didn't get much sleep last night.